皆さん、ローラント・フェリーさんです。Welcome to our channel. Thank you for your coming.
You know, we are here in the Burgenland, which is the very east federal state of Austria, and became part of Austria exactly 100 years ago, 1921. Before that, Burgenland was part of the Hungarian kingdom, which was again part of the monarchy, of the Austro-Hungarian monarchy. It's a celebration year. And you know, exactly 50 years ago, this was when I was 7 years old, there was a big anniversary as well, 50-year Burgenland, part of Austria. And there was a big celebration thing going on in Eisenstadt. And I was selected to have a poem in front of our president. So I was a little boy, and this was very exciting. And the new dress and everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and, you know, I'm still waiting now that get invited again for this year to tell the president a poem, but so far nobody has invited. Maybe I'm a little bit too old now. And this whole thing is very important. I mean, you know, the whole cultural and historical background. So this area here, which was called Deutsch Westungarn, so German-speaking West Hungary, was 800 years part of the Hungarian kingdom. So this was a more or less completely German-speaking area, but the whole thing, the whole way of cooking, and especially also the winemaking, the wine tradition was so important. It still is important. Hungary, this Carpathian Basin, this Pannonian Plains, was covered by a big sea 40 million years ago. So most of our wines are grown on the sediments of the sea and so on. Some volcanic spots, some primary rock spots, but the cultural tradition, the wine tradition, is completely within that. And this was some of the most, over the centuries, some of the most prestigious, most sought after, most expensive wines are made in this area. Just one little example, we found some old wine lists in Germany and other places from the middle of the 19th century. And in this list, when you have a look, there was a bottle of Romanée Conti or a bottle of Chateau Latour was 1 gold mark in Germany. And a bottle from here, from around the lake or from Tokai, was about 4 gold marks. So it's 4 times more expensive than a Romanée Conti. This would be good nowadays, but unfortunately things has changed over the years. Yeah, well, the name Moritz with this writing, with the spelling, with the C at the end, is the old Hungarian writing of the name Moritz. If you like, it's a little bit of a metaphor of the name of the region where we're coming from. It's very, very happy and proud to be Austrians nowadays. It doesn't matter. Even more proud we are that we are part of the great European Union. In the matter of fact, you know, especially in winemaking terms, you have to know where do you come from in order to get an idea where we can go towards. Especially, you know, regions like Burgenland, where a lot of wars happened, the Turks came through twice, and in terms of, in the days of the great migration, a lot of tribes got through and brought a lot of important things which we still have. For example, I'm doing a Schukrota sauerkraut today, where one of the ideas where it comes from is from the Far East. So the Mongols brought it with them in the days of the Great Migration, eventually, maybe. So a lot of stories, a lot of historical records got lost over the years, especially in the First and Second World War. So we try to get something back. One of the remains we still have here in the region is a grape variety called Blaufränkisch, which is our most important variety, and farly spread out in the Hungarian surrounding as well.
Great.
First of all, I put a little bit of butter, just a little bit, because we have also the lard of the Speck. This comes from an Alp. It's an Alp butter, and it's not pasteurized, so it's a raw milk butter. These wonderful layers of meat and lard and fat. This is fantastic. So I have it now in. I put as well. This is also a traditional Hungarian sausage. It's called kolbász. It's also done with,
Hungary.
it comes from Mangalitsa pork, so also free range. And it's added some paprika powder, some chili. And this is also wonderful because it's made, Mangalitsa pork, it has become very famous. So I'm chopping some onions. This is onion which comes from Burgenland, from a friend's place, and this type of onion is called Stuttgarter Riese. So I have now in the lard, the sausage, some of the onion. I add also a little bit finely chopped fennel. There's a lot of pork, a lot of fat involved, but high quality fat. So you need something where you can digest nicely. It's not only fennel I'm adding also some cumin, adding some juniper. This is also already in the sauerkraut involved. There's a bit of a chili paste. Some chilies. This is a bay leaf. It's important. A little bit of tomato paste.
トマトペーストをちょっと入れてますね。
This now it comes to one of the most important ingredients. This is paprika powder.
これがパプリカパウダー。入れますね。こんなに入れるんだ。入れる。
It's very, very important in our thing. Sweet. You have it as a sweet one and a hot one. But this is the sweet one. But I'm adding a little bit of other ingredients like this one. This is a chili pasta.
チリパスタをちょっとだけ入れるんですか。これは辛いんですね。これはもう本当にね、岡田さん、料理番組なんですよ。これで世界を制約して持ってませんが。
I'm adding a little bit of vinegar.
甘いんだ。そうなんだ。これオリーブオイル。
And even most important,
辛くない。皆さんもどんどん意見いただいて
I'm adding a little bit of
ブラウフレンキッシュ出ました。It must be your Blaufränkisch, right?
Of course it must. What else? I was talking about only the best ingredients.
Yes, best ingredients. Yeah.
Yes.
Great. 彼の日本で買うと4000円のブラウフレンキッシュが今入りました。素晴らしい。これじゃないとダメですよ、皆さん。これを入れましょうね。ぜひ。
Adding a little bit of water, or if you have some vegetable soup or whatever, or some more of the
うまいはずだと。
cumin, salt, pepper.
Nice. なんか犬。
So it looks like, and you see and then you braise it for about a good hour at least. Yes. The skin here of the pork, of the belly, gets very chewy then, and almost like I don't know how to say it. It has a fantastic consistency, and all the aroma is in. So after an hour of braising in the oven, then you add the sauerkraut for another 15-20 minutes. And then you add some sour cream, and then it's finished. 2007, we started the White House Maki project. And the reason why we just call it House Maki was this was a very common brand in the 70s, 30, 40 years ago. This was usually the best wine of an owner of a restaurant, which he has selected for their customers. And later on, it became a very bad image. So Hausmarke was then, at the end, it was something which nobody liked to have. And I thought this is the perfect name for our project, to have the lowest key, by image, and bring it with a very, very high quality. So I like this way of thinking, a little bit turning things upside down.
Yeah, I love it.
It's an ironic thing, as well as supernatural is an ironic idea, because from 2016 was the first vintage where we used the name Supernatural. And the way we're doing wine is very specific. As we're working with ingredients, highest possible quality of grapes grown all organically since years. So we're using no herbicides, no pesticides, no insecticides, of course. And not just because we want to be very friendly with the nature. Of course, that's the base. Nature is base of everything. But wine is a cultural product, you know. It's developed by humans. This is something what you have to bring off the nature. You have to work for it. Otherwise, nature would take everything back. So I consider wine as a cultural product. So this is the reason why it was a little bit you know, when the whole natural wine movement started. Sometimes I've got the feeling everything is a little bit exaggerated. You know, it's too pretentious sometimes. And I like to be, you know, with both feet on the floor and doing serious wine. Serious wine, which is driven by the place where it's grown, the history, the culture, and the perspective of the winemaker. This is what I have in mind with winemaking. All our wines, actually, all our wines, I mean, we are not adding anything. We're adding, with all the wines, a little bit of SO2 at the end, but just tiny quantities. But this is something because I like to have our wines, you know, when my wines get released from the winery, I want to have them arrive in certain places in the same way they're leaving my cellar, for example. This is one of the reasons why we use a little bit of SO2. Otherwise, there is nothing what we're adding to the wine. So it's all natural fermented. The malo is spontaneous, no filtering. I mean, we do filter a little bit the whites, we don't filter the reds. No addings, no finings, nothing. That's it.
Good.
So this was now about 1 hour in the oven. Because the pork belly is it's the perfect thing to do. Because
1時間もオーブンに入れとくんですって。
you can braise it quite long. It doesn't get too dry. And now I'm adding the sauerkraut.
ここで、このザワークラウトもね、また近所の農家さんで、もう樽で発酵された、なんかすごいこだわりのザワークラウトだって事前情報が入っておりました。うまそうですね。マジうまそうですね。明日じゃあ作ろとか言えるレベルではないものを作ってるんでしょうね。おー、ネギよ。なんかすげえ、うまそうだな、これ。こういう感じになるんだ。なんか、私の想像してたグラシと。以上、ローランドさん、Yeah, thank you for your time. And, yeah.
ありがとう。
ありがとうございました。
チャンネル登録よろしくお願いいたします。コメントもお待ちしております。